When we talk about self-actualization or being authentic to our true selves, we have to ultimately identify what self means, right? And in the classical worldview, there are three tenets or three categories that must be fulfilled in order for self to exist. Those three things are moral significance that puts us above the animals, the ability for freedom and rationale, and the fact that there is an ontological or rather a metaphysical reality about the human personality. The thing is that with modern materialism and dualism, the whole idea of self is denied by a lot of these philosophers and psychologists. So how can we have self-actualization without the actual constituents of self? Aristotelian philosophy and St. Thomas Aquinas in the natural law theory would say that there's a hylomorphic concept of the person, which basically means that we are integrated. Our soul and body are an integrated substance. One cannot exist without the other. Additionally, they would say that the soul ultimately informs the body. It's not the equivalent of the body. It actually is the substantial form. Like, it is necessary for the body to exist. And then additionally, with the facets of freedom and rationale, we have, like, the soul would have free will and reason, which is what makes us responsible for our actions. Modern philosophers, though, the major modern philosophers and the type of philosophy that has integrated itself into our society here in the States, basically first rejects the soul, and then it rejects the self, and then it rejects the mind. So we have this conundrum where we are being told, well, self-actualization and being authentic to your true self is the greatest service you can do yourself and the only way that you can achieve true happiness. But the definition of self and the understanding of what self truly even is has been entirely lost. For the next several days, going through this chapter called The Disappearing of the Self in After the Natural Law by Professor John Lawrence Hill, he's going to be explaining how modern thought has been unable to make sense of freedom, responsibility, equality, and human dignity with the loss of this understanding of this substantial self. Kind of on a side note, when I did the hylomorphic concept of a person, I wasn't able to put this together, but it almost seems like the hypostatic union of Christ. So like the hylomorphic version of the soul means that the soul and the body are innately intertwined, that one cannot exist without the other. And the hypostatic union of Christ is explained to be that he was 100% man and 100% God, and that those two things are inherently intertwined. So like we are 100% body and 100% soul, and that's like the hylomorphic view of the person. And like just like reading how Professor Hill described the hylomorphic person today, it reminded me and made me think of the hypostatic union. So if you're educated in that, I would be curious to hear if you agree or disagree with that connection. So thank you for feedback on that. And otherwise, I'll talk to you tomorrow about dualism and its discontents, Descartes and the rationalist tradition. Take care. May St. Thomas Aquinas pray for us.